Why hello there, this is B.O.X Productions, and welcome to another episode of Path of Exile. In our last episode, we got a glimpse into the dreams of a couple people we've heard a whole lot about, and then proceeded to murder the crap out of them. So now let's begin our fantastic voyage.
The way to God's heart has begun.
And through his guts we shall go. Right off the bat, I can tell that the beast has a really bad case of worms. Like a really, really bad case of worms. Now that I think about it, having eyeballs in your guts is pretty weird too. I mean, do they actually work? Can he see us from inside like this? Does he go to his optometrist one day and that'd be all like, "Well, Mr. Beast, your inside eyeballs ain't working right. You're gonna need glasses." That's weird. I guess we can see how the Bone Queen got her name, huh? That glowing red thing in the corner there makes me wonder if that's just something that's being inflamed, or if the beast devoured like a light show or something. Now that we've made it to level 2 of the beast, I'm really starting to wonder which direction we're headed. I guess we'll be able to tell from the smell. Hey, you know, maybe I had it backwards. What if the beast isn't infected with worms and parasites and stuff? What if that's just what his antibodies look like? I mean, what if our antibodies look like that? I mean, you put them under a really good microscope, and instead of them being what we would usually think, maybe it's just giant spider-looking things that shoots lasers out of its legs. That'd be cool or scary or something. I guess that answers my earlier question. Alright, let's do this.
You've done well, Brute, but let's not get above ourselves.
And once again we fight Piety, who is surprisingly not dead. She's been given a bit of a makeover since the last time we saw her. And she's gotten some new attacks as well. Starting with these here balls of death she's been flinging around. And after a little bit, you'll have to play a game of ring around the death beam with her. And that's pretty much all to the fight. Just occasionally kill the monsters so you don't get overwhelmed, and stay out of the way of her attacks, and you'll be fine. Though I gotta say, the fact that she's hanging out in the bowels of the beast is quite appropriate for her.
Calm wasn't half the man you are, Marauder. There comes a time when brute force is all that we have left. You've proved your worth to me, Karui, twice over. Time you proved it to Rayclast. Part of me wishes I'd died at your feet as was intended. The little girl within me that shies from darkness, from greatness. It was Malachi who reached out to me, who wrapped me in nightmare, made me his slave. He has shown me greatness beyond imagining. So much that I thought my mind would shatter under its weight. And although my mind remains intact, my dreams were not so fortunate. Malachi is in the beast's black core right now, harnessing all that the beast is and will be. He will destroy this world and forge it anew in the divine image of nightmare. Yet as powerful as Malachi has become, he is neither unreachable nor invulnerable. He sacrificed much to become the beast's prime servant, both in spirit and in flesh, yet 3 vital organs remain. His heart, lungs, and entrails. Keepsakes of humanity lost. They will be our tickets into Malachi's private little show. Venture deeper, deep into Nightmare's abattoir. I'll follow when I'm able. You find me those organs, and I'll get us into the black core. Malachi chose his 3 most loyal servants to guard those precious innards. His godless 3. Inquisitor Malagaro, Chevron of Umbra, and Doedri Darktongue. If the history books are accurate, High Templar Vol burned Malagaro and Doedri at the stake on his way to lay siege to Sarn. He didn't have to worry himself with Chevron. Brutus had already sorted her out. Yet slaves of nightmare seem to be shackled just as tightly to life as they are to the beast. I, of course, am living proof of that. Don't worry yourself with that little detail, though. Shackles are made to be unlocked.
Piety, betray me, and I will have your head.
And so we step foot into this delightful little place. Appropriately named the Harvest, considering we're about to go harvest some organs. Man, each level of the beast is even weirder than the last. I feel like I'm getting an in-depth view of the creep from StarCraft or something like that.
Before we walk this path together, it's important that you understand one thing about me. I don't regret a single thing that I've done. I set out to raise humanity up from the cloying mud of its fleshly ignorance. My mistake was not in the aspiration, but in the execution. Now I intend to correct that mistake. Really, I'm not helping you, Exile. You're helping me. So, have you found those juicy organs for me yet? Malachi knew exactly what he was doing when he created the Rapture. His primary concern, get inside the beast and take up the reins of true power. And his second objective, incite a cataclysm that would wipe the very thought of resistance from this land. The beast is the source of all thaumaturgy. The one power in this world that transforms what is real into what is imagined. The entire world is now at the mercy of one man's vision. It won't be the future I imagined, and it won't be the future you imagined either. While he remains within the Black Core, the only imagination that matters is Malachi's.
Well, alright. Now we begin our task of re-murdering some of Malachi's homeboys so we can retrieve his organs. I guess that answers the question of if they're holding or not.
I shall preserve your beauty for eternity.
$2.60 a gallon, ain't that some... Oh, wait, my bad. This is Chevron of Umbra, whose main method of attack is teleporting around and using various lightning seals against you. Oh, and killer books, which gives me really bad flashbacks to Symphony of the Night.
Slice away the ugly.
The ancestors demand it.
And this fine looking lady is the Oedri Darktongue. And as you can see on the ground there are different colored circles. Each circle corresponds to a different curse that will be placed upon you if you happen to step in that circle. And you can have more than one curse at a time as well. Her main method of attack is puking stuff at you. Honestly, the less said about this the better. You see what I did there? Because she can't talk, and it's a joke.
You are free now, slave.
Good. 2 down, 1 to go. You know, prior to meeting Malagaro, Chevron, and Oedri, I rather admired them. Their work, their accomplishments, sheer genius. As it turns out, genius is something better appreciated from afar. So let's remove this one last genius from the vicinity, shall we?
On this day, the eve of this rapture's completion, I honor those who have passed, and whose passion and knowledge have brought us to the brink of salvation. Inquisitor Maligaro, a creative force without equal. Sharon of Ambra, an aesthete of transcendent sensibility. Dwayne Darktongue, an idol of fervor and dedication. You taught me far more than I ever taught you, my students. My friends, we strove to make a greater world together, and in your memory, I shall make that world a reality. Malachi.
Jerk. Anyway, I wonder how the Beast feels about Malachi writing graffiti on his innards like that. And this here fella is Maligaro. His main method of attack is throwing traps and using chaos damage against you. Like those things he throws on the ground. If you step on them, they can hurt.
Artist. Your sickness is ended.
And we're done.
When I met you that first time in Axiom Prison, I thought you were a mindless mountain of muscle. I was wrong about you, Karui. So very wrong.
He's the final boss of Act 4, and who used to be the final boss of the main story at one time. Malachi has several attacks at his disposal, which includes a slam attack, and like the boss we faced before that had this kind of attack, it hurts a lot if you get hit. There's also a couple of times during the fight where you'll be forced to fight Piety for a little bit. Just do enough damage to her and she'll stop attacking. There's also the thing where he summons a portal to a tentacle dimension, which is weird.
This is what I get for trying to be a bloody hero. I was so sure that I was creating a prouder world, and I thought the Karui beneath such a future. I was wrong. Leave me, Marauder. I've got some explaining to do to my ancestors. You go and honor Malachi's head with a place on your belt.
May your ancestors forgive you, Piety.
And stay there.
Now, let us see if you truly understand what it means to be Nightmare.
And this is part 2 of the fight, which will show off his most dangerous attack, Slow Down. This fight can get very laggy at times. Once you take off a certain amount of his life, he'll go to one of these 3 hearts and start regenerating health, and you can't do any damage to him until you destroy the heart.
You are being selfish.
can see here, I'm not doing any damage to him. But other than that, you just dodge the crap he throws at you and try to stay away from those red circles on the ground and just wail on him.
I've never met a man more able, more ready to take life and crush it in his hand. Is there anything else you can do? If not, this land has something more it needs to worry about. You will be remembered.
I am proud to know you, Karui.
And I'm sorry. I should have been less
Bigoted?
quick to judge. But then, Ray class tends to bring that out in people. Quick to judge or quick to die. It's been that way for far too long.
But thanks to our warrior here, that could all begin to change.
Dominus is gone. The beast is gone. Feels like we can all start again now.
Oriathan and Karui, everyone, thanks to you. Be careful.
I'm sure your ancestors are very proud of you, Arnold. Yet, also rather... For even the great and powerful beast are not slain. And if you can't be killed, then how would you ever sit at your ancestors' table? Quite a conundrum. Something to mull over on your way back to Oria. Yes, Oria. Upon the mountain high, a gateway has opened. One that shall lead you back home. Hurry. For as the death throes of the beast soften and still, I see the gate getting to close. No one ever said that the Karui way was the tortured yet
You have fought a long war, a war to end a world and begin a new one. And you've learnt the most important thing about war. There is no winning. There is only remaining. My Malachi is dead. I knew it, felt it, understood it the moment you struck the final blow. I was the Gemling Queen. And now my king is dead. We dreamed only the greatest dreams, Malachi and I. A truly eternal empire. Eternal life. Eternal love. A future no longer afraid of the past. Eternal lies. Eternal loss. Those are our true gifts to Rayclast. This land could not have asked for a worse king and queen. Rayclast leaves the past behind it now. Melekai's past. My past. It thanks you, not a cockroach. It loves you. I wish that I could do the same. Still, I live.
I was right to have faith in you, Cursebreaker. You have succeeded where we have failed. You have slain a creature that was thought to live forever in the minds of those who came before you. Vol, Daresso, Kaum, Deshret, the greatest champions Rayclast has seen in the last 300 years. You stood where they fell. Now you are the champion of champions, and Rayclast should bow at your feet in gratitude. You certainly have my gratitude, and that of my Akara. We have been exiled from our land by fear and misguided duty. Now we may return, to ride where we will, live how we wish. Cursebreaker, giver of freedom, we thank you. Go where you are.
So, we just killed the physical manifestation of corruption in Rayclast and the so-called origin of thaumaturgy. Now what do? We climb a mountain. We're gonna go hit those buttons faster than anybody else and go win a piece of the aggro crag. That's what I'm talking about. White Death? I don't think this thing was involved with the recording of Among the Living. Maybe he was a roadie or something. Oh hey, this is a thing.
Captain Tavares. Altitude is imperative to forging a stable connection with the Prime Resonator in Theopolis. Power source is equally vital. Locate a fissure in the mountainside and lower a conductive cable into it. The deeper, the better. It will take an immense amount of thaumaturgical energy to execute the successful disintegration and transmission of objects, both inanimate and animate, between Highgate and Theopolis. For that kind of power, we must tap the origin. I needn't remind you of the consequences should either of those elements prove deficient. That is why I would like you, Tavares, to be the first to test the resonator once it is operational. Accountability is a perfect counterweight to ambition. High Templar Dominus.
Where does this portal go? I guess we'll have to find out in the next episode. Thanks for watching.
Piety? She still lives.
Then she needs to die again.
Permanently this time. I honestly don't know who I am more scared of. The beast or that black-hearted witch.
It's the combination that scares me. And it should scare you too, Exile.
Upon death, our bodies return to the ground. Those that are marked with darkness nourish the corruption. Those that were mighty in life are stolen away. They are carved and crafted, manipulated with malevolent creativity into becoming Malachi's servants, forged into ghasts of pure nightmare. Malachi is what every ghast aspires to be. The hands and eyes, the voice and mind of the beast itself. I see him in my dreams, forming his designs, crafting his tools, refining the chaos of nightmare into a vision. A future that you and I would not recognize. That neither you or I belong to unless, of course, we choose to accept the dark embrace. This is Malachi's greatest work, an act of invention like none other. Should he succeed, he will awaken the beast. What then? The beast is not dead. Life will go on. A life like nothing we have seen before. Ghasts have no useful words. To speak in nightmare is to speak in emotion and image, in thought. I see and feel the darkness, and that is how I know that the cataclysm was no accident. Its images are far too rich with intention, far too steeped in satisfaction. Malachi's satisfaction. Malachi devastated my people, destroyed the eternal empire, for one reason: to put himself right where he is now, within the black heart of the beast. Malachi's apprentices. Chevron of Umbra, Dodre Doctor, and Inquisitor Marigado. You will find no more devoted servants in awe of nightmare than life. They were the three finest forgers of corruption in the Empire. I'm inclined to agree with Malachi on this one. It would have been such a waste to let them languish in death. Poor Deshret. Each had the wicked way with her, you see. Their turn at trying to subsume Deshret into the collective corruption. Ingenious. True artists. Had Deshret been in possession of an imagination, they might well have succeeded, creating a ghast effect. Fortunately for us, Deshret never had such a effect. If Deshret were able to thank you for dispatching her tormentors, Malachi's wicked little trio. You have to content yourself with my thanks instead. That shred has been avenged, as is the way of the Motherketh. Tidiness helps one sleep at night, don't you think?
The little cockroach witch. Malachi chose her. Chose her over me. Use her then. Use her as Malachi uses her. Burn betrayal with betrayal. It's all they deserve. Yes, I see my Malachi dancing within the darkest. Puppet and master. Power and bondage. Cut the strings and the puppet falls. The show ends. Before you cut the cords, my not a cockroach, tell my dearest Malachi that he has played his part most wonderfully. Tell him that I love him from the bottom of my hate.